My name is Daniel Carter. I am 32 years old, and I believe loyalty is the strongest promise a man can make. I manage events for a living, which means I build perfect moments for other people. Tonight, I built one for my wife. Daniel, you've checked that list 5 times, Mark says, leaning against the balcony door of the rooftop venue. I know, I reply. I just don't want anything to go wrong. You rented the best rooftop in the city. I negotiated a discount. I say automatically. You filled it with her favorite white lilies. She loves how they smell at night. You hired a live violinist. She cried when she heard one at our wedding. Mark laughs. You're setting the bar too high, man. I grin at him. She deserves the world. I mean that. I always mean that when I talk about Olivia. She's 29, ambitious, bright, always chasing something bigger. We have been married for 3 years. I still remember the way she looked at me on our wedding day. Ethan walks in, holding his phone. Catering confirmed. Cake arrives at 7. Sound system tested. Good, I say. Did you check the projector? Yes. The photo, slideshow works. You're really doing this. Doing what? Try to win Husband of the Year. I shake my head. I'm not trying to win anything. I just want her to feel loved. Mark claps my shoulder. You always talk like that. Like what? Like love is a job. It is, I say softly. You work at it every day. My phone buzzes. It's my mom. Daniel, she says when I answer. Hi, Mom. You sound nervous. I'm not nervous. You always say that when you are. I smile. I just want a night to be perfect. Love doesn't need perfect, she replies gently. It needs honesty. I'm being honest. Then you have nothing to fear. Her words sit with me longer than I expect. When I get home to change, Olivia stands in front of the mirror in our bedroom. She is wearing the red dress I bought her last month. You look incredible, I tell her. She smiles faintly. You're dressed up early. I have plans, I say playfully. Daniel, she says, turning toward me. You've been acting strange all week. Strange good or strange bad? Too careful. I step closer. I just want a night to matter. It's just an anniversary. It's our anniversary. She studies me like she wants to say something else. Before she can, her phone rings. She looks at the screen, and her face changes. Are you going to answer? I ask. She hesitates, then walks toward the hallway. I'll take this. I don't mean to listen, but her voice drops to a whisper. Tonight? I can't. Daniel planned something. I know. Fine. I'll come. My chest tightens. When she walks back in, I ask casually, Everything okay? Just work, she replies. At 6 in the evening? It's important. What's important? She sighs. Daniel, not everything is about you. I raise my hands. I didn't say it was. She picks up her purse. I have to step out. What? Now. Emergency. I stare at her. We have dinner plans. I'll be quick. How quick? She avoids my eyes. I don't know. I swallow the feeling building in my throat. Come back soon. It's our night. She nods. I will. The door closes behind her. I stand there for a full minute, listening to the silence. My phone buzzes again. Mark, where are you? He asks. On my way. And Olivia? She'll meet us there. He pauses. You sure? Yes. I hang up before he can ask more. At the rooftop, guests begin to arrive. Soft lights glow above us. The violinist tunes his instrument. Sophia approaches me first. She hugs me lightly. You look happy, she says. I am. She glances around. Where's Olivia? Running late. Oh. She looks away quickly. What? Nothing. Say it. She forces a smile. I hope she appreciates this. She will. Mark joins us. Speech ready. I practiced it 10 times. Let me hear the first line. I clear my throat. 3 years ago, I married my best friend. Stop, Mark says. You're going to make everyone cry. That's the point. 7 o'clock passes. Then 7:30. I check my phone. No messages. Ethan walks up quietly. Still no sign. She's on her way. You call? Yes. And no answer. The violinist whispers, Sir, should I start? Give me 5 minutes. Guests begin murmuring. I hear someone say, Isn't this their anniversary? Sophia steps closer. Daniel, maybe you should call again. I dial. Straight to voicemail. Hi, this is Olivia. Leave a message. I hang up without speaking. Mark lowers his voice. You want me to drive around? No. She said she'd come. How long ago? An hour. Ethan checks his watch. Daniel. I force a smile. Let's start the music. The violin begins playing our wedding song. I step toward the center of the rooftop. Thank you all for coming, I say loudly. Olivia will be here soon. The wind feels colder. 10 more minutes pass. My phone buzzes. Relief floods me at first. I pull out quickly. Unknown number. I open the message. There's no photo, just a sentence. She's not with you tonight. She's celebrating with me. The world tilts. Daniel, Mark says. I can't breathe for a second. What is it? He asks. I show him the screen. His jaw tightens. Who sent that? I don't know. Call Olivia. I try again. Voicemail. Sophia steps closer. What happened? I look at her, searching her face. Do you know anything? Her silence answers me before she speaks. Daniel, tell me. I thought she told you. Told me what? She shakes her head. I shouldn't be the one. The one what? To say it. My hand starts shaking. Say what? She whispers, she's being distant. That's not an answer. Mark mutters, this isn't the place. But it is the place. It's the exact place where my perfect night falls apart. I look around at the flowers, the lights, the cake with our names written in gold. I laugh once. It sounds wrong. Daniel, Ethan says carefully, what do you want to do? I stare at the message again. She's not with you tonight. She's celebrating with me. I type back with numb fingers. Who is this? The reply comes fast. You'll find out soon enough. My heart pounds so loud I can hear it over the violin. Guests begin gathering their coats quietly. I'm sorry. I say to no one and everyone. There's been a misunderstanding. Mark grips my shoulder. We'll fix this. I nod, but something inside me already feels broken. I step away from the crowd and move toward the edge of the rooftop. The city lights blur in my vision. I whisper to myself. She said she'd come back. No one answers. My phone stays silent, and I stand there, surrounded by white lilies and empty promises, staring at a message that feels like the beginning of the end. I stood on that rooftop long after most of the guests left. Daniel, call her. Now, Mark said, gripping my arm. I did, I replied. She didn't answer. Call again. I pressed her name. Voicemail. Put on speaker, he said. Why? Because this is insane. Her recorded voice filled the space between us. Hi, this is Olivia. Leave a message. I ended the call without speaking. Behind me, I heard whispers. Did she really not show? That's embarrassing. I feel bad for him. Every word felt like a spotlight on my chest. Ethan walked over. People are leaving. I can see that. What do you want us to tell them? Tell them she wasn't feeling well. Mark frowned. You don't owe anyone an excuse. I owe myself one, I muttered. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I opened it. 3 photos loaded slowly. Olivia. Red dress. Smiling. She sat at a private table in a dim restaurant. Candles between her and a man I recognized from business magazines. Adrian Cole. 35. Tech entrepreneur. Confident smile. Perfect suit. One arm resting casually behind her chair. In the last photo, she was laughing. Not forced. Not polite. Laughing. My hand started shaking. How long? I whispered. Mark leaned closer. Is that him? Yes. Adrian Cole? Yes. Ethan exhaled slowly. That guy's everywhere lately. Sophia stepped forward. Daniel. Don't, I said. I didn't know it would be tonight. You knew. She looked down. You knew. I repeated. She swallowed. I thought she told you. Told me what? That they've been talking. Talking. Daniel. How long? I asked again. She hesitated. How long? My voice broke. Months, she whispered. The word hit harder than the photos. Months. I repeated. I tried to tell her to stop, she said quickly. I told her it would hurt you. And she said you were too busy, that you didn't see her anymore. I laughed once. It sounded hollow. I planned an entire anniversary party. She said you plan events better than you handle feelings. I stared at her. That's what she thinks. She said you love her, but you don't hear her. I hear everything, I said. I heard her promise me forever. Mark stepped in. Okay, that's enough for tonight. No, I said. I need the truth. Sophia's eyes filled with guilt. He's been helping her. With what? Her fashion startup. I blinked. What startup? She didn't tell you? No. She pitched him an idea months ago. He funded it. With what money? His. Only his. Silence. Only his. I demanded. She used some savings too. What savings? She didn't answer. Our joint account. I asked. She nodded. The air left my lungs. Ethan muttered. That's not small. Mark said quietly. Let's go home. I looked at the city one last time. Yeah, let's go. I didn't sleep. I sat on the couch, staring at the dark window, replaying the photos in my mind. At 3 a.m., I called her again. Voicemail. At 6 a.m., I heard the door unlock. She walked in slowly. You're awake, she said. I haven't slept. She placed her purse down carefully. Daniel, I can explain. Were you with him? Silence. Were you with Adrian Cole? She closed her eyes. Yes. The word was soft, but it shattered something solid inside me. For how long? It's not what you think. That's not an answer. She rubbed her temples. We've been meeting for business. And laughing like that is business. She looked at me sharply. You had someone follow me? He sent me photos. Her face paled. He did what? He sent me photos. Of you. In that dress. Smiling at him. She sat down slowly. I didn't know he would do that. How long? I asked again. She hesitated. 6 months. 6 months. Half a year of lies. Why? I asked. You're never around emotionally, she said quietly. I stared at her. Emotionally? You come home tired. You talk about clients. You plan surprises instead of conversations. I thought surprises showed love. I needed you to listen. I listened. No, she said, shaking her head. You fixed things. You scheduled things. You organized me. I supported you. You managed me. Her words cut deeper than the betrayal. And Adrian? I asked. What does he do? He listens. He listens. Yes. And that's enough to replace your husband? She flinched. Don't say it like that. How should I say it? She stood up. You're twisting this. I'm twisting it. I felt anger rise for the first time. You went to dinner with another man on our anniversary. It wasn't planned like that. You told him you'd come. She looked at me, shocked. You heard that? Yes. She covered her face for a second. I didn't want to hurt you. You did. Silence stretched between us. He believes in my dreams, she said finally. I believed in your dreams. He invested in them. With my money? She froze. With our money? I repeated. It was just part of it. How much? She didn't answer. How much, Olivia? 20,000. I felt dizzy. You took $20,000 from our account. I was going to put it back. When? After the first launch. With his help. Yes. I laughed bitterly. So, I funded my replacement. You're not my replacement, she snapped. He's my partner. In business. She didn't respond. I stepped closer. Tell me the truth. She met my eyes. I don't know what this is yet. That's worse. She looked tired now, not defensive. When I'm with him, I feel seen. And with me, I feel safe. Safe isn't enough. Sometimes it feels small. I nodded slowly. So you wanted bigger. I wanted more. I gave you everything I had. I know. Then why wasn't that enough? She didn't answer. The silence felt heavier than any argument. Finally, she said, maybe we rushed into marriage. There it was. The sentence that cut deeper than the photos. Rushed, I repeated. We were young. We moved fast. We dated for 3 years. I know. You cried when you said yes. I meant it. And now? She looked at me with a sadness I couldn't read. I don't know who I am anymore. And I don't know who you are, I replied. She picked up her purse again. I need space. You've had 6 months of space. She walked toward the door. Are you going back to him? I asked. She stopped. I don't know, she whispered. The door closed. I stood alone in the quiet apartment, the echo of her words ringing in my head. Maybe we rushed into marriage. That sentence didn't just hurt. It rewrote our entire past. I stopped sleeping after she walked out. At 2 in the morning, I sat at the kitchen table staring at our bank statements. 30,000, I whispered to myself. Not 20. The numbers didn't lie. Transfers. Installments. Hidden in small amounts, so I wouldn't notice. My phone buzzed. Ethan, are you awake? He asked. I haven't slept in 3 days. Daniel. She took more than she said. How much? 30,000. Silence. From a joint account? Yes. With his knowledge? It looks like it. He exhaled slowly. You need to protect yourself. I thought I was protecting my marriage. Now protect your future. I rubbed my eyes. I don't want to turn this into a war. It already is, he replied. You just haven't chosen your side. Later that morning, I visited my mother. She poured tea quietly and placed the cup in front of me. You look thin, she said. I'm fine. You're not. She said maybe we rushed into marriage. My mother's hand stilled. And what did you say? Nothing. I just stood there. She studied my face. Are you begging her to stay? I was going to. Don't. I looked at her. I love her. Love should not make you beg. Her voice was soft but firm. If someone wants to leave, she continued, let them feel the door close. I feel like I failed. You failed at nothing, she said. She made a choice. I wasn't enough. That is her weakness, not yours. I wanted to believe her. That afternoon, I called Adrian. His assistant answered first. Mr. Cole's office. I'm Daniel Carter. There was a pause. One moment. His voice came on smooth and calm. Daniel, I was expecting you. Were you? Yes. Let's meet. Where? Your office. He laughed lightly. Confident. I'm not asking. Fine. 30 minutes. While I walked into his glass building, I felt like I was stepping into another world. He stood as I entered his office. Daniel, he said, offering his hand. I ignored it. You think you won? I asked. He tilted his head slightly. Won what? My wife. He smiled faintly. She's not a trophy. She was my partner. She chose ambition. The words hit me like a slap. She chose ambition, I repeated. Yes, he said calmly. She wants growth, vision, expansion, and I didn't offer that. You offered comfort. Comfort is not a crime. It is if it feels like a cage. My jaw tightened. Did you encourage her to take money from our account? She invested in herself. With my savings. With shared assets, he corrected smoothly. You knew she was married. She told me she was unhappy. She told you that? Yes. And you believed her? I saw it. I stepped closer to his desk. You sent me those photos. I wanted honesty. That wasn't honesty. That was humiliation. He didn't look ashamed. You deserve the truth, he said. The truth is you prey on instability. He smirked slightly. Careful. Careful of what? Of becoming bitter. I'm not bitter, I said quietly. I'm done. He leaned back. Then act like it. That sentence burned in my chest. When I left his office, something shifted inside me. I didn't want to fight him. I wanted to outgrow him. That night, I called Ethan. I'm filing for separation, I said. You're sure? Yes. No more waiting, no more begging. Good, he replied. We'll move fast. I also want my accounts separated. I'll contact a lawyer. And the business? We protect it. For the first time in days, I felt clear. 2 days later, Olivia came by to pick up some documents. You met him, she said immediately. Yes. What did he say? That you chose ambition. She looked away. Did you? I asked. I chose opportunity. At the cost of us. She didn't answer. I'm filing for separation, I said. Her head snapped up. What? I won't compete for my own wife. You're overreacting. Am I? You're making this final. You already did. She stepped closer. Daniel, this doesn't have to be war. It's not war. It's boundaries. Her voice softened. He can help my brand grow. And what are you to him? She hesitated. A partner. In business. She stayed silent. That silence was answer enough. Later that week, Sophia met me for coffee. I didn't think it would go this far, she said. It already has. He's changing. Adrian. Yes. How? He checks her phone. He questions her meetings. He doesn't like when she mentions you. I almost laughed. He doesn't like competition. He has a pattern, she continued. Short relationships. Intense starts. Sudden ends. And she doesn't see it. She thinks she's different. I looked at my untouched coffee. She said that about me once. That night, my phone rang at midnight. Olivia. I stared at the screen before answering. Hello. Her voice was shaky. Daniel. What happened? He's not who I thought. I closed my eyes. What did he do? He gets angry. He says I owe him. Owe him what? Everything. Silence filled the line. Daniel, she whispered, I feel trapped. You chose him. I didn't know he'd be like this. You didn't know me either, apparently. That's not fair. Neither was 6 months of lies. She started crying softly. I made a mistake. I felt the old instinct rise in me, the urge to fix, to rescue. But I pushed it down. You made your choice, I said calmly. Are you really going through with separation? Yes. Just like that. Not just like that. After months of betrayal. She was quiet for a long time. I thought you'd fight for me, she said. I did, I replied. Every day. You just didn't see it. So that's it. That's it. When I ended the call, my hands weren't shaking anymore. For the first time since the rooftop, I felt steady. Power wasn't loud. It was quiet, and it was finally mine. I was in my office when Ethan walked in without knocking. You seen the news? He asked. No. He turned his laptop toward me. Adrian's face filled the screen. Headline, Investigation. Fraud. Investor lawsuit. I read silently. Is it real? I asked. Yes, Ethan said. Regulatory audit. Missing funds. Internal manipulation. I leaned back slowly. That was fast. Investors are pulling out. What about her company? He hesitated. It was funded through his network. So if he falls, she falls with him. I didn't feel joy. I expected to. Instead, I felt something quiet. Mark called me an hour later. Tell me you saw it, he said. I did. This is karma. Maybe. Don't sound soft now. I'm not. This is your moment. Don't fall back. I'm not planning to. Good, he said. Because she might. That evening, there was a knock on my apartment door. I opened it. Olivia stood there, eyes red, shoulders shaking. Daniel, she whispered. I stepped aside without speaking. She walked in slowly. He lied, she said immediately. About what? Everything. I crossed my arms. Be specific. The funding. The contracts. The partnerships. He used my brand to move money. I stayed quiet. They froze the accounts, she continued. My suppliers won't answer me. Because they're protecting themselves. She looked at me like she wanted comfort. I was wrong, she said. I see that now. The words landed differently this time. I told you he wasn't stable, I replied. I thought you were jealous. I was hurt. She wiped her eyes. He said you tried to sabotage him. I almost laughed. I don't have that kind of power. You have integrity, she said softly. That didn't matter to you before. She stepped closer. It does now. I felt the old pain rise, but it didn't control me. You didn't just hurt me, I said calmly. You replaced me. Her breath caught. I didn't replace you. You sat across from him on our anniversary. I know. You let him fund what we were supposed to build together. I was impatient. You were chasing something. She nodded slowly. Validation. From him. From anyone who made me feel bigger. And I made you feel small. No, she said quickly. You made me feel safe. But safe felt ordinary. So you chose extraordinary. I chose excitement. And now I see it was ego. Silence filled the room. My phone buzzed. Mark, I answered. She's there, isn't she? He asked. Yes. Remember what I said. I remember. Don't fall back. I'm not. I ended the call. Olivia looked at me. He's calling me nonstop. Answer him. I don't want to. Why? Because I finally hear what he sounds like. And what does he sound like? Desperate. Her phone buzzed again in her hand. She looked at the screen. It's him, she said. Put on speaker. She hesitated, then answered. Olivia. Adrian's voice snapped. Why aren't you responding? I needed space, she said. You don't get space right now. I'm not your employee. You owe me loyalty. I don't owe you anything. You think you can walk away? Yes. He laughed harshly. Without me, your brand is nothing. I watched her face change. You told me we were partners, she said. We are. When you cooperate. I'm not cooperating with fraud. Careful, he warned. No, she said firmly. You be careful. She ended the call. Her hands trembled. That's who he is, she whispered. I nodded. I try to tell you. I know. News alerts kept flashing on my phone. More articles. More investors withdrawing. He's finished, she said. Probably. And I helped him. You believed him. I betrayed you. Yes. She sat down slowly. I thought ambition meant leaving comfort. And now? Now I see I confused noise with growth. I didn't respond. She looked around my apartment like she was seeing it for the first time. You changed, she said. I had to. You're calmer. I'm clearer. I don't recognize you. I didn't recognize myself either. She swallowed. Is there any part of you that's happy about this? I thought carefully. No, I said. I don't want revenge. Then what do you want? Peace. She nodded slowly. I kept thinking you'd come fight for me, she admitted. I fought when we were married. And now I fight for myself. Her eyes filled again. I lost everything. You lost an illusion, I corrected gently. I lost you. That happened before the headlines. Another alert buzzed. Official charges filed. She stared at the notification. It's over for him, she whispered. Yes. And for us. I didn't answer immediately. She stepped closer. Is there still a chance for us? She asked. I looked at her, really looked at her. The woman I loved. The woman who left. The woman who came back only after the fall. I felt sadness, but not desperation. I don't know who we are anymore, I said quietly. The truth sat between us. Not cruel, not angry, just final enough to change everything. Months passed, and I stopped counting the days since the rooftop. You look different, Mar told me one morning at the gym. Different how? I asked between reps. Like you're not carrying bricks on your back. I put them down. About time. I focused on rebuilding simple things first. Sleep, food, work. Ethan sat across from me in our office one afternoon. Revenue's up 30%. Because we stopped underpricing ourselves, I said, and because you stopped doubting yourself. I gave him a small nod. We're expanding. To the West Side venue? Yes. I already scheduled meetings. He smiled. This is the version of you I was waiting for. I had to lose something to find it. Work became clean again. Clear. No emotional fog attached to it. At a charity gala 3 months later, I met Grace Mitchell. She stood near the stage, clipboard in hand, directing staff calmly. Lighting needs to shift warmer, she said to a technician. Not brighter. Warmer. I stepped closer. You're the only person here not panicking. She looked at me with steady eyes. Panic wastes time. I'm Daniel. My company handled the catering. I know, she replied. You're early. I like control. She tilted her head slightly. Control or preparation? Both. She offered a small smile. I'm Grace. I coordinate this venue. We worked side by side that evening, adjusting timelines, fixing small mistakes before they became problems. At one point, she asked, do you always watch everything so closely? Yes. Why? Because when you don't, things fall apart. She didn't ask for details. Instead, she said, you deserve loyalty, not confusion. The sentence caught me off guard. You don't even know me, I said. I don't need to know your whole story to recognize exhaustion. I looked at her for a long moment. I'm not exhausted anymore, I said quietly. Good, she replied. Stay that way. We started talking more after that night. Nothing dramatic. Just honest conversations. No games, she told me once over coffee. I don't have the energy for games. Then don't play them. It felt simple with her. Clear. One evening, my phone buzzed with a name I hadn't seen in weeks. Olivia. I stepped outside before answering. Hello. Daniel, she said softly. Can we talk? We're talking. I mean in person. Why? I regret everything. The words were steady this time, not desperate. Regret what? I asked. Leaving. Choosing him. Hurting you. I leaned against the wall. I believe you. You do? Yes. Then meet me. I agreed to a public cafe. When she arrived, she looked different. Quieter. I lost the company, she said immediately. I heard. I'm rebuilding. Alone. That's good. She looked surprised. You're not angry. I was. I'm not anymore. I thought about that night every day, she said. The rooftop. So did I. I was selfish. Yes. I chased applause. I know. She swallowed. I thought you'd always be there. I was. And I took it for granted. I studied her carefully. I didn't feel rage. I didn't feel longing either. I forgive you, I said. Her eyes widened. You do? Yes. Tears formed instantly. Then we can start over. I shook my head gently. I forgive you, but I won't go back. The words felt strong, not cruel. Why? She whispered. Because I respect myself now. I respect you too. Not enough when it mattered. She reached across the table. I didn't pull away, but I didn't hold her hand either. Is there someone else? She asked. There's someone who speaks honestly. Do you love her? I'm learning. She closed her eyes briefly. I didn't realize what I had. I didn't realize what I deserved. Silence settled between us. I'm glad you're okay, she said finally. I am. When we stood to leave, she paused. Daniel? Yes. I'm sorry. I know. That was the last time we spoke like that. A month later, I stood on another rooftop. Not for an anniversary. For my company's expansion celebration. Mark raised a glass. To Daniel. The only man I know who turned heartbreak into growth. Ethan added, to independence. Grace stood beside me, calm as always. You nervous? She asked. No, I said. Just aware. Of what? Of how far I've come. She smiled softly. That's not luck. That's choice. Guests laughed around us. Music played. The skyline glowed the same way it had months ago. But I felt different. Stronger. Steadier. At the edge of the rooftop, I noticed a familiar figure near the entrance. Olivia. She wasn't inside. Just watching quietly. Grace followed my gaze. Do you need to speak to her? No. Are you sure? Yes. Olivia met my eyes across the distance. There was no anger in her expression, just understanding. I gave her a small nod. She nodded back. Then she turned and walked away. Grace slipped her hand into mine. You okay? She asked. I am. I looked out at the skyline. I thought about the lilies, the empty chairs, the message that shattered me. I thought losing her would destroy me. Instead, it showed me who I am without her. I squeezed Grace's hand gently. She left to celebrate another man. But that night, without knowing it, she set me free.